I think all Western leaders are a little embarrassed by what they are having to do to appease Trump. They're all still figuring out how to try to handle him. Gavin Newsom, governor of California and the de facto leader of the opposition now in America, or leader of the resistance is the other title that he's being unofficially accorded, went further. He said, I'm disgusted by the Western countries that are aiding and abetting Donald Trump in his authoritarian takeover of the US. That's what Gavin Newsom said in his interview with me last week.
And he even likened them. He said they're doing exactly what so many corporations are doing and so many billionaires. I mean, that's particularly damning, right? You're talking about the leaders of sovereign nations who are behaving like corporations that are just in it for the money.
Yeah, that's right. He didn't use this phrase, but it's like they're tiptoeing around a terrorist and don't want to upset him and hoping that if they can just ingratiate themselves sufficiently, they'll survive, even though they know the entire building is going to get demolished.
So Donald Trump's teleprompter broke today when he was speaking at the UN General Assembly, and he gave one of the most embarrassing speeches in all of U.S. history. Let's start with this one where he's addressing immigration in other countries.
You have to end it now. Sid, I can tell you, I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell. In America, we've taken bold action to swiftly shut down uncontrolled migration.
And then he also started talking about climate change and how other countries are to blame and not the United States, of course. But when he was speaking about environmentalists and people who care about the environment in general, he was saying no more cows. We don't want cows anymore. I guess they want to unalive all the cows. And he even decided to shout out his own merch line, saying, I'm really good at predicting things. During the campaign, they had a hat. A best-selling hat, of course. Trump was right about everything it said. And I don't say that in a braggadocious way, but it's true. I've been right about everything. This is the way he's speaking in front of world leaders as the President of the United States. He reduced America's voice to playground insults, conspiracy theories, and petty side rants where no one even knows what he's talking about. Instead of diplomacy, he bragged about himself. Instead of unity, he mocked our allies. And instead of leadership, his speech was filled with shame and confusion. Every single time Trump gets on the global stage and makes speeches like this, it chips away at America's credibility, leaving us weaker, smaller, and way less respected than we previously were. And that is exactly what our foreign adversaries want.
President Trump just absolutely wiped the floor with the United Nations, delivering a speech to the General Assembly that embarrassed them with zero filter and 100% clarity. So what did he actually say? Firstly, he addressed Europe, telling them, your countries are going to hell. And as someone who has the misfortune of residing in Europe, I completely concur. He slammed European leaders, saying, your countries are being ruined by illegal aliens pouring into Europe, and nobody's doing anything to change it because they're too concerned with being politically correct. Trump went on a tirade criticising the United Nations as a body, as they run on empty words, and empty words don't solve wars. He made reference to the fact that UN has not tried to end several wars, and they've been given the opportunity, including the ongoing war between Israel and the Islamic Republic of Iran. Trump said, sadly, in all cases, the United Nations did not even try to help, adding that all they seem to do is write a really strongly worded letter and then never follow that letter up. He adds that the only thing that solves wars is action. And, as expected, he turned his attention to the abominable decision made by the UK, France, Canada, Australia and others to recognise the state of Palestine, saying this would be a reward for these horrible atrocities, of course making reference to the October the 7th, 2023 massacre. And of course, he's completely correct. Have quite literally celebrated it and called it the reward of October the 7th. I have not a single ounce of criticism for Trump's tirade, which was something of a well-needed lecture, in the midst of an influx of weak, short-sighted, dangerous leftist politicians destroying everything we know and love about safety, sanctity and democracy. Trump stood tall, Trump stood firm, and echoed the sentiment that I know so many of us are feeling but are struggling to vocalise right now. I have zero notes. This is actually what a leader looks like. Starmer, Macron, Albanese, Carney, take note. It might actually help you with your swiftly decreasing popularity.
It's a lie to claim that Sadiq Khan has ever expressed any interest whatsoever in doing it. If he was introducing Sharia law, he'd be in the dock for attending Pride, you could argue. Not just attending Pride, but leading Pride through the streets of the city where he's been elected mayor 3 times running. So it's just racism, right? It's just racism. And it's everywhere now. It's not only everywhere, it's somehow still thriving in an environment where the racists all claim that the anti-racists have the, to coin a phrase, whip hand. Oh, the anti-racists define discourse. The anti-racists are in charge. The anti-racists have got all the columns. They've got all the commentary. They've got all the TV shows. They've got all of this. They've got all of that. There aren't any. There's me.
Hey everyone, it's Leek back again with another reaction. Today we are diving into something really crazy, where Americans are reacting to Trump's embarrassing moment at the UN meeting. Remember that credit goes to the owner of the video. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll come back with a comment.
Trump just gave the worst speech an American president has ever given. Honestly, maybe the worst speech an American in general has ever given. And you're seeing America's allies pretty dumbfounded on how to proceed. But if you missed it, Trump complained that the UN wouldn't let him remodel the building. He said that everyone's country is going to hell. He complained about the mayor of London. He rambled about windmills. And he talked about clean, beautiful coal while insisting that he's really good at this stuff. And he also said, quote, "Together, let us defend free speech and free expression," which is kind of crazy for a guy that's doing what he's doing right now. And with this, you had the Australian foreign minister saying the speech was unsurprising. The Colombian president, a major non-NATO ally, calling for a criminal investigation into Trump. One senior diplomat at the UN said, "This man is stark raving mad. Do Americans not see how embarrassing this is?" You had a senior South Korean official saying, "We no longer consider the U.S. a North American country. It's clearly Central American in governance," which, if you don't speak diplomat, they're saying America is now corrupt and run by a ridiculous authoritarian. A Latin American official said that the speech confirmed that Trump's approach to the world is vibes rather than facts. You had the British media calling the speech deranged and a long and humiliating rant. They even went as far as to say that the world needs a strong anti-Trumpian alliance. German media said that Trump is getting crazier by the minute and said that the speech was bizarre. The French media called the speech staggering, violent, and incoherent. Canadian media, in a very polite way, said that Trump lives in another reality. And then others were generally saying that Trump feels like basically Brandon on dementia steroids now. But hey, we're all in the car together, so buckle up and follow to say in the...
Wait, Londoners, you guys didn't tell me that London was going to Sharia law.
I have to say, I look at London where you have a terrible mayor, terrible mayor, and it's been so changed. Now they want to go to Sharia law, but you're in a different country. You can't do that. Both the immigration and their suicidal energy ideas will be the death of Western Europe if something is not done immediately. This cannot be sustained.
Wait, how is it that the President of America, the supposed most powerful man in the world, he's turned that office into some sort of joke clown office? How does he stand at the UN General Assembly meeting, whatever, and spout actual lies, verifiable lies that are so easy to debunk? But he just stands there and just lies so easily with so much impunity, and nobody tells him or holds him accountable and tells him that's not true, that's a lie. They just allow him to spout these lies so effortlessly. Sharia law in the UK, first it was Tommy Robinson who was saying Sharia law, blah, 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 and now him. So it looks like a sort of agenda for the far right and right-wing racists to insist, because Sadiq Khan's the mayor of London now, to insist that it's going to Sharia law. How can London just go to Sharia? What does that even mean, go to Sharia law? Like, go to Sharia law? Is Sharia law a place to go to? Or and what has he got against Sadiq Khan? Because he's Muslim. I mean, we all know what Donald Trump is. Some have called him racist, and he's not beating those allegations, is it? Because what is it that Sadiq Khan has actually done to him for this irrational hate that he has for him? It's so laughable at this point, but the whole thing is just so ridiculous that the most powerful man in the world can just lie, and people will just stand there. We don't even know if they believe or not. They'll just allow him to lie and get away with it. Like, Keir Starmer has never said anything. Americans, the people who voted for that man.
Trump doesn't care who you are, as long as, he found out you're black, you're Latino, you're Muslim, he immediately attack you. How come President of United States talking about Mayor of London? As London is a part of United States, people should remind him this guy is not the leader of the world, he's the President of United States with the people who voted for you. I don't see any people from London who voted for Trump. They don't even care about your leadership, but you're always trying to attack anyone. Why? We got another one. Let's watch it. I come back with a comment.
This week is the United Nations General Assembly, when all the world's leaders gather here in New York to advance humanity's noble quest to make my morning commute a goddamn nightmare. Now, this year is an especially fraught time, with crises all over the world. Gaza, Ukraine, accelerating climate change, AI, the uncontrolled spread of labubus, it goes on. Addressing these crises will require the full focus and attention of a mature leader. Luckily, that's exactly what President Trump is known for. So, this morning he arrived bright and early with the First Lady, striding onto the escalator for his trip to... Oh, okay. All right. That's fine. Okay, so the escalator broke. Oh, okay. That's unfortunate. You never want a minor hiccup like that, but you know what? That's fine. A broken escalator just means extra steps on your Fitbit. Don't let it interfere with your speech, Mr. President. Start by reminding them all of all the good you've done.
In a period of just 7 months, I have ended 7 unendable wars. They said they were unendable. You're never going to get them solved. And I did it in just 7 months. It's never happened before. There's never been anything like that. I'm very honored to have done it.
Okay. Good start, Mr. Trump. Not technically true about the 7 wars, but, it was classy. We've got some good vibes going. Let's ride that wave to talk about issues of global importance.
I ended 7 wars, dealt with the leaders of each and every one of these countries, and never even received a phone call from the United Nations offering to help in finalizing the deal. All I got from the United Nations was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle.
Okay. You're still thinking about the escalator, okay? That's okay. It's okay. I get it. Nothing's worse than a surprise flight of stairs, but don't forget, global stage. Let's move on.
If the First Lady wasn't in great shape, she would have fallen. But she's in great shape. We're both in good shape. We both stood.
Okay, yeah. You made a joke out of it, broke the tension, point made. Now, let's get back to the global crises before you start spiraling out and remembering every bad thing that's ever happened to you in this building.
I bid on the renovation and rebuilding of this very United Nations complex. I remember it so well. I said at the time that I would do it for $500 million, rebuilding everything. It would be beautiful. I used to talk about, I'm going to give you marble floors. They're going to give you terrazza.
Okay, wow. Terrazza. I don't know what that is. Let's talk about Ukraine.
But they decided to go in another direction, which was much more expensive at the time, and which actually produced a far inferior product.
Wow. I bet they regret that. If you could just skip forward to the part about Gaza, though.
They had massive cost overruns and spent between $2 and $4 billion on the building and did not even get the marble floors that I promised them. You walk on terrazza. Do you notice that?
Okay. You're still mad about the escalator, aren't you? Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, frankly, looking at the building and getting stuck on the escalator, they still haven't finished the job.
Enough! You're just having a tantrum now. Your team is waiting off stage with a blankie and some apple juice. Just say the most diplomatic thing you can, and let's just get out of here. Something about how we're all in this together.
Your countries are going to hell.
Close enough.
How come United States ruled by a guy like this who doesn't even have a speech? Everyone knows America is the most powerful country in the world, but I don't know if this time you voted for a guy who ready to lead your country or to crack jokes about your country. Can you imagine spending those minutes talking about escalator? You forget about Gaza. You're talking about yourself no more than your country. How? That's all for today, folks. I hope you like it. Don't forget to subscribe to the Leakers Take. Share your comments. See you on another one.